Thanks for making some time. Thanks for making some time to listen to this because, as part of our life, we have to learn all the time from each other. And I really appreciate what MFIRD is doing because you have to take some specific time with some specific objectives to achieve, to organize these kind of sessions. So today's topic is, or probably, we might continue again in future as well if it is objective, is leadership. Again, leadership is a very, very vast subject. It's a ocean. How to become a leader, what are the qualities of it, what skill sets are required. But today's session, we will focus mostly on why somebody need to aspire as a leader and what kind of leadership is what is required currently according to our view, and why should we inspire the next generation to become the leaders. So with that, let's just look at the agenda. So the intro is something that we will that is already been done. So we will look into what is exactly leadership, because there could be a lot of different perceptions and conceptions about leadership. But let's look at what exactly the leadership is. And then it's leadership styles or types, whatever you call, because there are different methods, there are different approaches, there are different methodologies and frameworks to achieve leadership, and each one has got a different purpose and application of it. And then why someone needs to become a leader, and if they have aspiration, if anybody has aspirations to become a leader, then what is it exactly required? Because you need to, some of the guys are born leaders, they come with those leadership style, very specific, charismatic, influential, motivational, but not many come with that. So they will have to learn, they will have to go through certain exercises, certain skill sets need to be possessed by them so that we all can become leaders. And then what is positive leadership? This is actually a very, very deep subject of positive leadership, wherein we need to understand the attitude of human beings and what kind of mental agility they possess. Are they really agile for change or not? So that's also something that we will touch base today. And then leadership skill set and aspiration. If time permits, we go into that. Otherwise, we'll continue in the next session. Let's see, how this whole thing brews up. And then we will have some Q&A. So the first session is aspire, transform, and inspire. Aspire is we want to aspire, we want to become, we are aiming to become. That's the aspiration, that's the goal, that's the ambition, that's the objective. And transform is how do we change it? How do we bring that change in within ourselves as well as all those who are around us? And then inspiration or inspire is how would we inspire others to become future leaders or next gen leaders? So that's the whole topic. I would like to start with a couple of quotes, because these quotes are not just said by one or two guys, but it is the philosophy of life. It is actually the mental agility, how it impacts our day-to-day life. So one of the facts that we all have to remember all the time is that we as human beings are given truly the superpower by the Almighty. And some of us use it, some of us don't use it. Some of us feel that we do not have the potential. Some of us feel that we have the potential. And some of us use it differently in a positive way. Some of us use it in a negative way or a neutral way, or some of us use it to influence some wrong stuff as well. But the greatest fact of human beings is that we have an ability to alter our lives. That's a really, really a great statement. How? By altering our attitude. What is attitude? We'll look into it, because attitude makes the difference. Attitude is really the passport for our life, our future. Attitude is what required for us to live tomorrow. So human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitude. Okay, it is said by one person but followed by several. So it is us, we can train ourselves how we would like to become. That's really a bold statement. And then there is another statement. This is little bit philosophical, but it's absolutely the fact as well. So you are not what you think you are, but what you think you are. So it's little bit deeper. If you don't get it, don't worry. But if you read it couple of times, try to understand it, we will get it. Again, we are not what we are thinking. We are what we think from our side that, okay, I want to become this, I would like to transform myself this, and I have the capability to change, I have the capability to inspire others, I have the capability to bring in good in the society, I have the capability to. So this thinking is what you are. You are not what you are currently. So that's what is the quote. So with these quotes, let's just quickly look at the definition of the leadership, because so-called, we have a lot of leaders around us. We have been seeing them, we have been watching them, we have been monitoring them all the time. We are really surrounded by lots of leaders, but what kind of leaders they are? We have political leaders, we have leaders in the organization, we have leaders in the society, we have leaders in the community, we have leaders in the country, we have leaders in the government organization. So we have leaders surrounded by. We have leaders in sports, we have leaders in other industries as well. But what exactly is the leadership? So leadership definition, I have given here a couple of definitions, because if somebody want to pick and choose from this, they are welcome to do that. Leadership is actually, it's an ability of an individual or a group to influence, or guide, motivate, support, help others, not themselves, others. And I want all of us to understand this carefully, because leadership is not about what is happening now currently. Is that, look at ourselves. I want to be the leader. I would like to have so many followers. And we are seeing so many followers. If you look at Twitter, you have followers. How many people are actually the leaders? There are very, very few leaders. And the number of followers are in millions. But why should we follow somebody? Maybe we can follow a leader and become a leader. That's the whole objective of this session as well. We must become leaders, because there is scarcity of good leaders. There is scarcity of positive leadership in the country, in the society, in the world. So it's the ability of an individual or a group to influence and guide others objectively to achieve larger benefits or larger goals or greater heights or great things. So it's an ability. And how that ability comes in? It comes with practice, it comes with certain qualities, it comes with certain skill set. What are those? We will look at it. And in bracket, I very precisely mentioned that without any selfishness, because if you look around today, the leaders, most of the leaders are selfish. You won't find, maybe, 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000, you would find that who is not selfish. But this country has produced, you know, really selfless leaders as well. If you go into the history, the humanity has produced, good leaders who never were selfish, but we are lacking that today. So that's one definition of it. And if you want to understand other as well, maybe from an organization perspective, or maybe from a community perspective, or from any agenda perspective, or from any mission perspective, this also could be defined as leadership is an art or process of motivating people towards achieving common goals. And this goes perfectly fit for maybe a sports team, maybe a group of people that are having common goals within an organization or within an enterprise, within a company, or maybe within a community, within the society. So that's also another definition of it. Or again, leadership is also an art of articulating and communicating, because in leadership, communication is absolutely important. So there are three C's, which is the key for success within the leadership, is that communication, coordination, and then the collaboration. These are the three C's. We'll just look at that as well. So leadership is an art of articulating and communicating the ideas to people, influencing, inspiring, guiding all the way through the journey of success. So if somebody has a goal, somebody has an objective, somebody has uh, you know something, some aspiration to achieve, then leadership is an art of articulating it and communicating those ideas, influencing people, inspiring them, guiding all the way through the journey of success. That's another one. And then there's another one is leadership is the process of bringing people together to work collaboratively to achieve great things, such as now MFIRD. A group of people are coming together and bringing a lot more people together to work collaboratively to achieve great things. So this is also the leadership. So being said that, what is the leadership definition? What exactly the leadership is? Let's look at why should one, aspire to become a leader. Leadership aspirations. The first thing is that, we need to genuinely, we need to have the liking, or we need to have aspiration to transform people, groups, and community, which means that we want to do good. We want somebody to be successful. We want somebody around us to do better in whatever they are doing. If we have that thinking in mind, then leadership aspiration is valid. If we want to change, if we want to see the change in the people, if we want to see the change in the communities, if we want to see the change within the society, if you would like to see the change within a group of people, then you need to take up the leadership aspiration. Otherwise, there's no need for that. That's one reason. And other thing is that there are several people who have gone through the experiences of life. They have experienced the life. They had certain expertise, and they have explored the world. They have explored the technology. They have explored the industry. They have explored the life, and they would like to share that with others. And that could also be another reason why somebody would like to should become a leader, because either they can write a book and influence and inspire. That's also something that somebody can do, or they can start talking or communicating, guiding the next generation. And again, what are we doing today is to establish our future is secure, and our future is not just with us, our future is with the next generation. And what is it that we are going to give back to the society or to the next generation is all these experiences and expertise. And then the other thing is that if you look at some people who are struggling, they don't know where to start, what to do. Maybe somebody is in the startup business, they don't know, but you have already come through that, and if you have already experience and expertise in that, and you want to help and guide the people rather than reinventing the wheel, achieving their bigger goals, yes, that's also one of the reasons that we can consider leadership aspiration. And then again, inspire people to become Gen Next leaders. If you now ask a lot of millennials, they say that, okay, no, I would like to maybe have my own business. I would like to have a startup. I would like to be the owner of my own company. That's it. But they are not looking, beyond, themselves or maybe a small group of people. And we need to inspire them to actually look at the whole community, because leadership is not about just looking at few people. Leadership is about looking at larger number of people so that everybody can benefit. And that inspiration that we need to create, because if we do not become the better leaders who can articulate, who can communicate this message to the next generation leaders, and next generation leaders will never be born. because they don't understand. They take that as okay, accountability. They will take that as some mean example of leaders that are around us. So we need to inspire, and if we have that kind of aspiration, then considering leadership is really a good option. And then, this is again a generic statement. If you would like to transform the world to be a better place for all, and this is what everybody is striving for, but they are striving for their own, ambitions, their own purposes. Most of the countries, if you look at it, we would like to dominate it, and every country or every society, every community, they would like to have control of others. But are we really making the world the better place for all? And that's what is something that we have to consider. And if we are not considering that, then this world will not be better for all. Always there will be, there won't be any peace. There would be a lot of conflicts, ambiguity. Life won't be secure, and the quality of life will get degraded, and all these things happen. And we are watching that all around the world. That's what is happening because lack of leaders, lack of selfless leaders. We have a lot of selfish leaders, who want to have the world better for themselves and their specific groups, but not for everybody. So these are certain things that one can consider if you would like to take leadership as an aspiration. And then the three C's formula that I personally have been using, and many of my team members uses it, many of my colleagues uses is that if you want to be a better leader, we need to articulate the things better. We need to communicate the things, because communication is key. The messaging is key. Narration is key. What you speak, what you tell others, that is the key. And coordination is nothing but bringing the teams together, bringing the people together to work towards a common goal. And until and unless everybody contributes to it, which is the collaboration, we cannot succeed. So for leadership to be effective, we need to bring in our lives the practice of three C's, which is communicate, coordinate, and collaborate. Without this, we will really not be able to achieve the greater things in leadership. Okay, moving on. What are leadership styles? There are several styles of leadership. We will look at some of them that are applicable to us as well as the Gen Next leaders, and that has got more value prop than others. What exactly is a leadership style? Is it styling yourself? Is it how you talk, or is it how you dress, or is it how you speak, or how you motivate? Yes, that is little bit part of it, but it's a different set of skills, methods, methodologies, approaches, frameworks, techniques, whatever you call, which are used to guide people, give directions, such as please do this or don't do this, because if you do this, this is what happens, and then motivate, achieve excellence. Because even if you look at next generation is not focused on achieving excellence. They just would like to do good for themselves and probably their family and their some close friends. That's it, and that's what they feel as success. Because I interact with next generation and I try to understand their thinking, their thought process. They just want to have something good for themselves and their families. They do not look beyond that. And that's becoming, because a lot of nuclear families are becoming more popular than what it used to be earlier. That's why they do not care about others. So achieving excellence, not just for ourselves, but bringing in that excellence within our teams, within our community, within our society, within the group of people that we interact with, that is something that is also one of the leadership styles, which is a coaching, style leadership that we'll look at it just now. And then executing plans and achieving goals, all these combined with all these permutations and combinations are referred as leadership styles. And do we have to stick to a specific leadership style? Probably not. You have to mix, depending upon whatever is the requirement, whatever is the necessity, whatever is the purpose of it. So if you look at now, again, this is the question that I'm posting everybody, whoever is within my close circle or within my group or within my organization or within my reach, I'm asking them, are we ready for tomorrow? And the same question we must ask others as well. Are we ready for tomorrow? Because tomorrow is going to be us and the next generation's future. And are we really preparing to be better for tomorrow? Because tomorrow should be better than today. And because the today is better than yesterday. And if that is not the philosophy, then we are really not utilizing and capitalizing on the life that is being given to us. And we all believe that it's one life, you do something for others and then leave the legacy so that the tomorrow of others is better. Now, if you look at leadership styles or the types, whatever you refer, visionary leadership. So if I now give examples of, I don't want to be very, very specific with regards to the names because that might create some bias. So visionary leadership is something wherein uh, you look at, you have the vision that nobody else is looking at. You have the clear picture of what exactly you can achieve with it, what exactly is should the future should look like. That's the visionary one. Such as some of the innovative people, they have this visionary leadership style. Now there are a lot of technology leaders, industry leaders, who are bringing in uh, you know a lot of new technologies, such as spaceships and all those kind of things. They are the visionary leaders. So they are somebody who would like to build the culture of innovation. Innovation culture is something that they always encourage. That is what they always motivate. That is what they always influence. Now, like smartphone. When smartphone came in 15, 20 years ago, nobody thought that there could be a smartphone, but there were certain guys who believed in that, who thought that this is the future and this is what is going to drive. And today, majority of people who are working, they have smartphones and they are utilizing phone as a mini computer. But those leaders who have visioned this 15, 20 years ago, you know not everybody visioned about it, not everybody thought about it, and that's also a thought leadership as well. uh, so nobody thought about it, but they thought about it, and today it is the reality. So they are the visionary leaders, such as maybe some of the great freedom fighters. They thought that they could free this country from Britishers. They could free this country from the other rulers. Even though it was a difficult task, but they had a vision and they really built that culture. That let's fight it out and let's come out as a free nation. So that's the vision. So visionary leaders are very, very, very scared. So there's a lot of scarcity of the visionary leaders because nobody would like to have a vision for themselves, because what we want these days, what we are seeing is that we are fully occupied with a lot of things that are challenges that are strategic at this point in time, are transformational challenges what we have, and we really don't look at the vision. But visionary leaders, they can really change the entire culture of the generation. Like now the smartphone is something that has changed the way that we are communicating, they change the way that we are using the digital world, that has completely changed. So we need visionary leadership as well. And especially if we really would like to have the communities, the societies, the people to be better for tomorrow, we really need to have visionary leadership. And that's really lacking, not just within India, across the globe as well. If we now talk about who are the visionary leaders in the entire world, you won't find more than that you can count on two hands. You cannot. So then the strategic leadership is the leadership wherein you have a strategy to achieve something, and then it is looking at what we are today, which is nothing but managing your day-to-day task, whether we are achieving those tasks or not. How are we growing it towards the strategy, evaluating it, and maintaining that momentum, maintaining those time slots, maintaining those milestones all the way through until we achieve our strategic goals. So that's the strategic leaders. But these strategic leaders as well, they also need to, such as now, if I give you an example of it, let's suppose there is an organization wherein the organization would like to increase the revenue and would like to excel in business with regards to certain things, and within 2 years they have the goal to touch probably a x number in revenue and a y profitability. That's a strategic plan. How would you achieve that mission, which is a strategic plan? But do they look at it only after 2 years? No, they will have to continuously go through that. So that is an example of a strategic leadership. And then there's another one, which is a transformational leadership. Transformational leaders are those leaders, who would like to have continuous improvement. And this is what is required for us, because if we do not transform ourselves and people around us all the time, then it will be too late for us to transform them at a particular period of time. So we cannot have vision without having the transformational leadership. So that's what it means. And all the time, the transformational leadership is setting the new goals, setting the new tasks, setting the uh, new objectives, and they are the guys who can influence easily, because it's not something that they are asking it to be done in 2 years or 3 years. They are the guys, those are the leaders who says that let's get this thing done by tomorrow, let's get this thing done by within a week, within a month. So shorter milestones, but continuous improvement all the time. So, and this is really the most effective and progressive leadership, if somebody would have to take that. And then the coach style leadership, which is the mentorship. All the time somebody is coaching, somebody is guiding. So you are looking at probably every day, every week, looking at it, and then you are coaching the people, which is the next generation. And wherein a great deal of time is spent, a great deal of experience and expertise is shared with each member. And again, in coaching style leadership, you do the SWOT analysis of each and every individual. We need to go through, what each individual is capable of, what is the skill set that is required to achieve those greater things. What is it that that makes most of their time and effort objective. Those are the coaching style leaderships. And then servant leadership. I think that this leadership has been already buried several years ago. I'm not sure, maybe whether in certain communities it still exists, but servant leadership is just serving others. Nothing about ourselves. It is just serving others, which means that we have to consider others' needs first before even considering our basic needs. And that's the servant leadership, where you have to commit that I will be serving maybe the nation, I will be serving probably the community, society, or the organization, without even looking at my basic needs. So that's what is serving. And when it comes to serving, serve others first is something, that's a servant leadership. Probably it is not there and we might not need, but again, if we understand the servant leadership, then this selfishness is something that we can get away with. We can wash off the selfishness from our thought process if we have the understanding of servant leadership. And then there are others, authoritative leadership. That's what is mostly seen these days. Is it good or bad? We can look at that as well. But again, authoritative leadership is something that is more common within the organizations, wherein the leader or whoever is the boss of that particular organization or that strategic goal, he has the authority to give directions and to guide people throughout the process. And transactional leadership is another leadership wherein it's just if you do this, you will get that. I mean, that's an incentive based kind of leadership. Probably this is something that is not required. It's especially for getting better performance out of your teams at workplace, that is applicable. Still, there are a lot of MNCs. They say that if you achieve this target, you will get paid more, or you will have these incentives or these benefits. That's a transactional kind of leadership. So the motivation is only the benefits. The motivation is nothing beyond that. And then autocratic is also a kind of authoritative leadership. And then the others are democratic. By means of it itself, you have a consulting kind of thing. You are not actually guiding without consulting other leaders around you. And the bureaucratic, as the name suggests, it's a bureaucratic one. Delegative is another leadership wherein you delegate others to do it. Again, the bottom two are not something that I'm specifically interested in, because these are commonly practiced, but the top three are those ones that is the need of the hour, according to me, according to my research. So visionary leadership, strategic, and transformational. These are the three leaderships that are required for us as human beings at this point in time, if we really would like to bring in change. And as part of all these, we will do the coaching style. We'll also have the selflessness kind of quality we have to develop if we really would like to be a strategic or a visionary or transformational leader. And that's the combination is something that is required at this moment, according to my view, my point of view. Now, as I said, tomorrow is reality, absolutely reality. Nobody can say that, okay, there won't be tomorrow. Probably whether we will be there or not, that's a different thing. But tomorrow is reality. And everybody expects that tomorrow should be the best. If somebody says that, oh, tomorrow should be worse than today, then, they are not positive guys. They are not optimistic guys. So tomorrow should be the best. And everybody, if you look at the organizations, the leaders, the countries, the nations, the communities, the political parties, everybody is striving that tomorrow should be the best. And then everybody is also striving that tomorrow should belong to us. It should belong to us. When we say us, here, where the leadership comes in. When we talk about us, is it only me and some of my people around me, or is it a lot more people who should benefit out of it? So that's the, just excuse me. Sorry. So tomorrow should belong to us. When we say us, we need to get as many people together in that us. Otherwise, again, selfishness is coming. So are we preparing our gen next for tomorrow? And if we are preparing, really we have to plan it well. And this is a lot more at a strategic level or transformational level. But these are the questions that we have to ask ourselves, such as we need to prepare mentally and literally. And when we say mentally and literally, if we really want to become a leader, we really have to change the way that we are thinking, because we do not have to think from our own perspective. We have to think from others' perspective. We need to be empathic. We need to bring in, lot more qualities such as active listening. Active listening is very, very important when we want to become a leader, and we need to articulate the things better. But for this, we need to change ourselves first. Because if we do not change ourselves, how can we change others? And remember the quote that I started with: human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitude. And what is attitude? We'll have a look at it just now, because it's really, really very, very important thing. How we think, how we perceive, and what exactly the things are. It's completely different. Now, prepare mentally and literally. Now, let's suppose that we say, now I would like to become a leader, and I would like to inspire others. I would like to do good for others. I would like to build this next generation to be the best leaders. Then you need to prepare mentally that these are the things that I will have to do it mentally as well as literally. And then we need to plan it precisely, because you need to exercise, you need to learn a lot of things, and then practice judiciously, because if we are leaders, we need to be very, very authentic. We need to be genuine. Are we? If we are, fine, that's really good. You do not have to work on that. But if we are not, then we have to practice. And are we having any selfishness? Are we really speaking the truth all the time? Are we really guiding everybody to the true path? We need to practice all these things judiciously and spend time wisely, because leaders are not the guys who are just roaming around. Their plan for tomorrow is set. Their plan for the week is set. Their plan for next month is set, almost set. It's not 100%, but at least 60 to 70% that is set, because they do not want to waste time. Everybody has limited time, in this busy life. And then add value consistently. Whatever we are doing, we need to keep on adding value consistently. If we are not doing that, then all of a sudden in one day, if you would like to read a book and understand and learn and acquire all the knowledge, we won't be able to do that. And then progress every moment. So if we really want to be the next generation leaders, if you want to inspire others to become a next generation leaders, then we need to at least follow these things. There could be several other things. I'm not saying this is the only definite list of it. It could be more than this as well. And then another important or vital thing is about leadership is that leaders are authentic, especially true leaders are authentic. And today, if you look at the authenticity of the leaders, it is absolutely lacking. And according to the survey, almost every leader is not genuine, according to the surveys, because nobody believes the leaders. Maybe there is one in 10,000, leaders across the world, that somebody believes in, because they say a statement, they give a statement, they give a commitment, they do not stand by that. And this happens. We are seeing that around all the time. So first quality that, as a leadership, understanding our aspiration is to be authentic. True leaders are all the time authentic. And believe me, this I think everybody knows about this as well. But again, I'm emphasizing it that authentic people are more trusted, more loved, more adulation is there, more respect is there, more admiration is there for authentic people. But we are lacking that. And today, if there is a message that we would like to give it to our next generation, our younger generation, is that let us all be authentic, genuine. Yes, sometimes faking it is required, but if we can avoid that, that is better. Sometimes selfishness is there, but if we can avoid that, that is better. So a self test, somebody can do it. And by the way, authenticity establishes trust, be it in professional life, be it in personal life, in whichever life it is. It really establishes trust. And who doesn't want to be trustworthy? Everybody wants to be trustworthy. Nobody would like to be called as a liar. So we really have to practice this authenticity. It doesn't come, by itself, because sometimes we are just trying to hide something, but we are not authentic. But again, those are things as well. We need to articulate it in such a way that we stay authentic, we speak the truth, and it doesn't really cause that kind of damage if we even speak the truth. So being authentic, if we want to do a test, of ourselves before becoming the leaders, is that are we faking? Are we wearing a mask of being really good? Are we trying to show the world that we are good? We are the genuine people who are not selfish. Are we really faking? This is a question that needs to be asked to ourselves. So if we are faking, then we need to change that habit, because faking cannot cannot be sustained for longer time. It will be exposed. And today, if you look at the leaders around us, since they have faked it, that's why we don't trust. And this is an example of it. And if somebody comes and fakes it, maybe first time you believe it, second time you believe it, third time you don't believe. So faking is really absolutely against the true leadership. And then, are we really taking credit for somebody else's success? And this happens in many organizations. I have even experienced that within my organization as well. Somebody is trying to take the credit for others' work, because those others are not approaching the leaders. Those others are not conveying the message to the leaders, our leadership. So taking credit of somebody can never be a quality of true leaders. So this is the check that we need to do, that, are we really taking credit of somebody else? If we are doing it, no, we must give it back. We must really give the due respect, due credit of our team members, even it was one single advice, because from a human brain perspective, what we think is that, no, I did this. Maybe you might have just given one advice, but I did it. Yes, but if you even attribute, if you even acknowledge that, because of one of those advices, that also added value, you are actually giving the due credit to the person whoever has advised you. Or maybe you have been inspired by the book, so quote it, give that due respect, give that due credit. And then, not selfish. I mean, in this world, especially in the corporate world, uh, not being selfish is a very, very difficult thing, because there are a lot of politics, there are a lot of things that are happening. Not only that, even, I see that even in some families as well, people have become selfish. The moment we put ourselves before others, then that is selfishness. I'm not saying that we should not eat and we feed others. Okay, you have your food, but then you feed others as well. You need to think about others as well, not just by ourselves, for ourselves. So that selfishness is really difficult to follow. um, Even though I coach several people, but I still, the moment it comes to their individuality, their personality, they would like to have it firsthand. They would like to have it more for themselves and less for others. And this is selfishness. And again, knowledge is also something. We do not want to share knowledge in this industry. I'm seeing that more often, that, oh, okay, it's our trade secret, this is that. But if you do not share it with others, how are we going to grow the next generation leaders? And then be generous. We need to be really generous. Sometimes you feel that, okay, even I don't have it, why should I be generous about it? Even if you don't have it, if you expect something for your brother or from something for your sister, it will be given to you automatically. This is my belief, and this is many people's belief as well. So be generous. We need to be really generous. So if we want to test ourselves whether we can be leader, we can be true leader, we can create a positive change in this world, or in the community, in the society, within the organization. We need to ask these questions. Whether I'm being authentic or not, whether I'm being genuine or not. If I'm not, then we need to practice. And again, it's how you think and how you change it, because it's our attitude. It's nothing that we cannot change it. And then understanding attitude and mental agility. This is very, very important. Why again the leadership is required is that the two aspects of this slide is that one is to understand what kind of mental agility or the ability or the attitude people have, and why should we change that? Why should we strive to bring positivity in that? That's one. The second thing is that if we would like to analyze ourselves as well, do we have the right agility, mental agility to change? Now, such as I give you an example. Now, um, example of if somebody is really now coughing and sneezing, immediately what is coming to our mind that, okay, maybe he has COVID. I mean, this was more common last year or last before year. even though it was normal flu or normal flu. Why? Because that's the thing that has actually stored in our brains. Uh, it's a settled way within our thinking and within our feeling that if these are the things, exactly this could be that. But it could also be flu. It could be something else as well. We could not digest it. Probably in next few years, when there is no COVID, probably we'll come back to our original thinking about sneezing and coughing, that it could not be COVID. So why? Because we have experienced it. Why? Because we have a thing linked with that thought. That's the reason, we have established that it could be COVID. But prior to that as well, 5 years ago as well, people were sneezing, people were coughing. Was it COVID? No. But until such time, we were not exposed to this. So, what is attitude? Attitude is a settled way, a formed way of thinking or feeling about objects, person, place, circumstance, or event. So, that's the attitude. Or, it could also be that a mental state or mindset of beliefs, values, thinking, feeling, behavior, based on different perceptions, different conceptions. So that's also, truly an attitude. So it's a mental state of it, such as I give an example. The moment if you look at somebody wearing a religious dress, by looking at the religious dress, we are establishing that, okay, this guy is this, and this is bad about it, and this is what it is. Why? Because that's our attitude, and we need to transform that attitude, because what we see could not be what it is. And that's where people are going wrong. And if you look at on Twitter, if somebody is tweeting, and if he is a follower, irrespective of what exactly is the incident, irrespective of identifying the facts of it, irrespective of looking deeper into it, people are propagating that negative thought, negative message, and they are bombarding each other with the nonsense, with the abusive words. Why? Because they know that that's the attitude that they have it. But first thing is that we need to investigate. We need to investigate whether it is right or wrong. We cannot just as received forward a wrong messaging, and leaders need to understand this thoroughly. And if you look at today, a lot of leaders, they get direction from somebody else, and then they do all this nonsense. We need to change the attitude of the people, which means that we need to change their perception. We need to change their conception. And again, probably I'm going a little bit too, psychological, philosophical, but if leaders need to go back to this point and understand the mental agility and attitude. Or it could also be that now, such as if you now wear dark glasses, how would you see the world? You would see the world little bit darker. If you wear maybe green shaded glasses, how would you see the world? It would look green. Why? Because attitude is again exactly the same thing. It's a mental filter, or a window, or a lens through which somebody looks at the world. And that attitude need to be changed. Even about ourselves as well. Maybe we are thinking that probably I'm not a good leader, probably I'm not a good speaker, probably I'm not a good communicator. Maybe if we now tell ourselves that I'm a good communicator, I can be a good leader, I can inspire others, I can do good for others, then our point of view immediately changes, because we are looking through a positive filter rather than a negative filter. So this is really, again, a bold statement. If you look at today, the human being attitude will either define them or it will destroy them. If we have the right attitude, positive attitude, it will define them. It will evolve them. It will grow them. If they have the wrong attitude, negative perception about everything, it will destroy not only them, but even people around them and whoever are following them. So what is the point that we have to look at? We need to change the attitude of the people. And it's nothing but it's just a point of view. So we also need to understand that if you look at, again, if you look at social media, if you look at electronic media, there's a lot of frustration going on, anger going on between the communities, between the people, against each other. There is a lot of pessimism. There is a lot of ambiguity. Is it all true? If you go to the ground level, it might not be true, but that's the perception that is being created. And people are becoming more and more negative. And that's the reason we need to bring in positive leadership. And if we are part of it, we need to go and look at it. We need to go and assess it. Probably, half of it is not even truth. Maybe we are overreacting to it. And then there are some sick and or aggressively negative people who just want, now, like whatever has happened in the past a few months, destroying the public property, creating riots and all these things, because they have that attitude which they have inherited from their leaders. If the leaders would have got the positive attitude, nobody would have dared to do that. So what is the change that we need to bring in the society is that we need to bring in positivity. We really need to bring in a lot of other stuff. And that's the reason I, as an individual, joined hands with a lot of other people. We have, established an organization that would like to bring in change. Probably, if you would like to follow, you can follow that. IntelliSense is something you can follow. On Twitter, you would see that there is a lot of positive stuff. There is a lot of facts that have been published. That's our social media handle. Apart from what I'm doing for Pilog as a CEO, me and my team are also uh, at least trying to bring in good change, across the society. So we even analyze the political stuff. We are even analyze the political situation. A lot of things we analyze as part of that, and we publish it. We have a great team that's doing a lot of research and bringing in the facts as well, because we want to stop this whole nonsense, that whatever is happening within our nation, especially within around us, because all of us can live together. It has to be a diversified society. Then neutral, there are a lot of people who are neutral. No hope for them, unemotional people, no action, no change. Can we change them? Absolutely, you can change them by influencing them, by probably starting with some transactional leadership, but then taking them into other leadership styles. We can change them. But again, what I'm defining today is that what is the mental agility of the people around us? Either they are negative or aggressively negative or neutral. There are several people who are neutral, who do not want to choose any way, and then positive. There are a lot of people that are also positive, who brings in lots of confidence, who brings in lots of optimism, who brings in happiness, not just for themselves but for others as well, and who are sincere, who are determined to do something. And those are the guys that we must pick them first and then make them or transform them as gen next leaders, and then we can focus on the rest of them. So again, I'm closing this with, always remember, human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitude. And I really like this quote. And I would like all of us to believe in it until it is proven wrong. Such as, I give you an example. Let's suppose that if we tell ourselves, and by the way, there's a lot more from a conscious mind to unconscious mind, how you can plan, what you can do. If I get another chance next time, probably we'll talk about that as well. How can you tell yourself, tell your brain that this is what you must do, and it will do. Believe me, I have practiced it. It will definitely do. And we need to change that. We really need to change our mental agility to perform that way, transform that way. So we'll talk about that more, but I'm open for some questions. Dr. Saif, I'm done with today's session. Probably if opportunity given or time permits, we'll have the follow-up session, because it's a really a vast subject. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Imad. It was really useful for us. So we can have a few minutes of discussion or questions if someone has from the audience. from the audience, if someone wants to ask something to Dr. Imad, please go ahead.
Okay, somebody is typing a question, so let me wait.
So, in the chat box, you'll be getting one question soon.
Yeah.
So one of the brothers.
Hey, Dr. Ahmad, this is Mukhtar. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Mukhtar, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, sometime, right, in the leadership role, we are unable to take some decision. We have some internal fear of doing something, right? How to overcome that fear?
See, if it has the larger benefits, it has the benefits. Absolutely, we can combat that fear. Is one. The second thing is that in a leadership style, let us suppose that there is a conflict, and conflict resolution is very important because we as leader cannot take a decision and directly impose it until and unless others also, support that. So in that case, we need to have, before making that decision, we need to have a consulting kind of thing from others, involve all the stakeholders and get their opinion. Probably they might also be right in that, even though our decision seems right, but we must get also inputs from others and then make the decision rather than directly making the decision. I'll give you an example of that. We within our organization, it's not huge, but around 300 plus people are within our organization. So we wanted to implement a policy. We implemented it immediately, and then later on, some of the people started saying that how can you do this, how can you do that. Then we said that no, let's withdraw that. Let's get the inputs on that policy, and then let's get their advices, their suggestions also included as part of that policy, and then we could implement it very easily. So really, you need to consult. You need to really have a forum wherein you can consult and then explain them the benefits. And today, I think that everybody is okay to bring in change or accept the change as long as it is being explained to them properly, it is being communicated and articulated to them properly. And there are certain really tough decisions as well. Sometimes you need to make tough decisions, but that those decisions must be in the best interest of the group, in the best interest of the company, in the best interest of more people than lesser people.
Thanks, Mr. Ahmad, Syed Ahmad.
Okay. There's a question here. What is the best way to learn and practice any leadership style? See, there are a lot of books, first of all, because you cannot directly go and listen to some of the things, but there are a lot of books that are being available. Or if you have a mentor, that is even better, because again, probably in the next session, if we have an opportunity, we'll talk about again mentorship as well. What is mentorship and who should mentor and what is it? So that's the way to go. And then the other one is that I find I'm situational most times and always try to be neutral. Yeah, we need to take the entire team along with us. Along with us, again, we need to stand in their shoes. If we do not stand in their shoes, then it will be difficult for us to lead a team. We need to be empathic. We need to listen to them, even though it is criticism. We need to listen to them, and we must always be approachable. And if you look at some of the leaders today, they are not approachable, and accessibility is the biggest challenge for a lot of unsuccessfulness within the leadership. So we need to be approachable, we need to be all the time available. So you establish a communication channel with them, that if there is anything that they would like to seek your advice, or if there is something that they would like to give advice, you keep that communication channel open. Okay, I think I answered those ones. There are a lot of books, but I think if you can uh, log on to a program which is a mindvalley.com, I think that's the best because the best of the best authors, the best of the best life coaches, mentors, the psychological leaders, everybody is contributing or growing that community. So mindvalley.com, mindvalley.com is the place. But again, it is if you want to enroll onto a program, that's what I found best. There are several books because if I want to name few, because let me just give you also another thing. There are certain books that talk about leadership. There are certain books that talks about experiences. Learning experiences of the great leaders will teach you a lot of things, such as a lot of leaders, current leaders or past leader books. Those are the books that will actually keep our mind open all the time, not just looking at a narrowed thing. Um, but there are a lot of books. I don't want to specifically mention anything, but mindvalley.com is one of the best that I found. So this question is that how to handle or lead people who have authority problems. So I'm understanding that they do not have the authority to lead them. Then you give the advice. So passively, you can give the advice to those who are closer to the guys from where that thing need to be executed, if I understand your question correctly. Or uh, you know again, leadership is not about whatever I am telling the guys must do it, or they must report to me, or they must stand in front of me with folded hands. Leadership is all about getting the things done. How you do it, how you articulate it, whether it is actively passing a message or indirectly passing a message. That's the thing that you can actually practice. Okay. Any advice to lead cross-functional teams? So leading cross-functional teams is that the first thing is that we need to have that business acumen, whatever the subject that we are uh, going to lead. If you do not know the subject, again, I'm not talking about if you have to lead programmers, you need to know the programming, but you need to understand the algorithms of it. You need to understand the logic, what could be implemented. You don't need to know the platform and the programming language, but to manage programmers, you really need to understand the functional aspects of it, not rather than the technical aspects. But sometimes having technical aspects will also add value. Otherwise, people will fool you around. People will give you reasons why the task or why the stuff could not be delivered. Yeah, building the bridge between two teams is always challenge because each one has got different perception, different stuff. So first session need to be active listening. Listen to both of them. Don't encourage anything. Listen to it, and then establish the facts about it, and then we can go and tackle those issues. And most of the times, human beings are really very, very simple, but they have a complex problem, which is the ego. I am superior to others. I have more knowledge. I have more experience. I am doing this. This I am is the thing, that is killing most of the teams. So if we find people with egoistic one, then we must give them, you know, less priority in building the future teams, because those guys can spoil the team unless they change their attitude. So we need to work more on the attitude of the people who have the ego. Okay, I think Dr. Abra, is that all?
Ji, if audience does not have anything, we can stop now, and maybe we can schedule second session sometimes later on your availability, inshallah.
Sure. Oh, there's a last question. Confrontation. I think, confronting somebody in front of others is the biggest mistake. So having one-to-one talk is the best way to deal with any conflicts that are there. Mm. So even if somebody is, let's just suppose in a meeting, somebody is challenging us, absolutely challenging us, then you can say that no issues. Let's discuss it outside of the meeting rather than, trying to cut them off, or give them a very articulative or rational behind why you think so. And maybe you can say that I will have a one-on-one. So because people will challenge you, because everybody thinks that they are smart, but until and unless we prove with a rational behind that, reasoning behind that, logical reason behind that, we won't be able to win over the any debate or argument. Okay, thank you very much for your time. Best wishes.
Jazakumullah, Dr. Imad sir. We hope to hear from you soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Imad.
Thank you, everybody.